Of the 30 players that teams are allowed to bring in to visit, Nakobe Dean, again, the only team he's met with is the Lions. But the one name to really keep an eye on, and I wish he wasn't hurt, is Damon Clark from LSU.
Listed a couple names who you take at 2 if you were running the card to the stage. But I got to ask, my guy Peter Schrager, he's had like the most accurate mock drafts because he doesn't do his based off like.
Wasn't more accurate than mine last year.
Hey.
Say that again?
It wasn't more accurate than mine last year.
Mic drop.
It's true.
Okay.
We just spit facts here. So talk to me about middle rounds, linebackers, defensive guys who are out there, guys who prognosticates better drafts in history than some of these guys that you're seeing. Who you got?
Yeah,
who you even looking at?
Yeah, and I mean, no disrespect to Peter, he's great. He does phenomenal work. He's very well connected, things like that. But when I look at the middle rounds here, away from Nakobe Dean, Devin Lloyd, because let's be honest, Devin Lloyd's not an option in this draft. They're not going to get him. There's no if the quarterbacks fall, there's no way he gets past 20 to Pittsburgh or 21 to the Patriots, regardless if we never know what they draft. But for later in this draft, I'll start with an interesting name that I don't think I really want, and that's Chad Muma from Wyoming. I do want him, but I don't want him. He runs fast. He looks good, but he doesn't take on blocks very well. Watching him last night against Air Force, again, triple option type of offense, so it's tough to really figure that out. You've got guards, you've got centers, you've got tackles, polling, you've got fakes in the backfield. There's a lot to go on, and when you're in the middle of the defense, you're the Mike linebacker, there's a lot to read. But he reads the guards and tackles and center. He reads the offensive line well, but he doesn't take on the blocks the correct way. You want to engage on your blocks, he's turning his shoulders. He's overcommitting into his lane, into the B or C gap, and the ball's going right up the A gap on a trap play. And it's like, okay, I get that. But you watch him against Boise State, he's flying around, he looks great. Is he a realistic option at 32? Yes, but that's a little rich for my liking, and it's even a little rich for my liking
really
at
rich.
34.
Yeah.
But if he's there at 66, I would consider it. But the other one would be somebody that they've looked at a little bit, Brian Asamoah. He ran a sub-4 5.40, very quick, 6 foot, right around 230. Looked okay at the Senior Bowl, somebody I watched up close and personal. But the thing with him is he's a little bit undersized. He tackles really high. And will his overall game translate to the NFL consistently to be a 3-down backer? I don't know. But I don't know what the Lions really want out of linebackers. You're hearing, word that they want to move to a 4-man front. Well, that might not change anything at the linebacker spot because, to be honest, anybody in the chat that's going, well, we want a 4-3 type of backer or a 3-4 type of linebacker. There's no such thing of that anymore.
Yeah.
It's a lot of multiple different variations up front, a lot of nickel defenses where you have 5 defensive backs on the field. So you're seeing a lot of 4-2-5 type stuff. Mm-hmm. So Asamoah makes sense, but he's going to only be used sparingly. So he might be an interesting fit maybe at 97 or something like that. But the one name to really keep an eye on, and I wish he wasn't hurt, is Damon Clark from LSU. Calvin Shepard's come out and said, hey, this guy is like a little brother to me, very well connected to the LSU program. Shepard went there. But Clark is one of those guys that he false steps quite a bit, and I'll stand up and show you exactly what he does if you want. But he's one of those guys that he bunny hops in his stance, and he's false stepping, and if he's got to drop back in coverage, he's already a step or two behind anything behind him. But he had spinal surgery, and he's probably going to be out this entire year. But if you take him in maybe the 5th round and you value him in year 2 of his rookie contract, it might really work out for you. And when you look at the way Brad Holmes, what he comes from in L.A., they don't value linebackers. They don't draft them high. And I know we talk about how we might want to need, we might need one, but you've got Sean Dion Hamilton, Alex Anzalone, Derek Barnes, and Jared Davis. Are they really going to value a 5th linebacker and maybe only a 2-linebacker system? I don't know. And I hate saying that because I would love to see a Nakobe Dean or something like that, but I just don't know if they're ultimately going to do that. But Clark might be an interesting fit. And then the last name I'll just throw out here is Quay Walker. A lot of people say he's a first-rounder. I see a 3rd-round player on tape. He's got 53 career games played. You got enough experience there. What you see with him is what you get. Nothing's going to change there with him. He is who he is. He's 6'4", 240, runs like the wind. Yeah. But at the NFL level, if you can't get off your blocks similar to Chad Muma, you're going to struggle a little bit. You can drop into coverage, you can blitz, but if I want a guy that's going to blitz, the best blitzing linebacker in this draft is Nakobe Dean. And keep in mind, the only team he's visited with this entire process,
Detroit. That's what I wanted to ask too. Is like him, he's a guy who was so highly coveted, during the college football season, and then come draft time, I get he hasn't tested, and then maybe this is the reason why. But like, why is he? I feel like, Scott kind of teased it. He may fall a little bit, kind of like a JOK did last year. What's the deal with Nakobe Dean? Why is he falling down on boards?
Well, he's got a knee issue right now. It's a meniscus or a cartilage issue in his knee, and that's why he didn't test at the pro day or the combine. And when you get a linebacker that doesn't test, and I've talked about Asamoah running a 4.55 and Chad Muma running really well, all these other guys that run really well, it ultimately hurts his draft stock because play speed matters, but also you want to see some of that long speed because Chad Muma, Senior Bowl, he chases down Malik Willis from behind on a broken play, and he makes the tackle. Now, granted, I think Malik probably let up a little bit, that I thought he was safe, but Muma makes that play. Nakobe Dean's not showcasing that right now, but you see it on tape. Like, you see the range, and you see him blitzing. And I think when you watch him blitz, as we talk about this defense, they could do a lot of things with him where if Derek Barnes, Alex Anzalone are problems on the defense on third down, maybe you take them off completely and you run a 4-1-6 type of defense. You have 6 defensive backs on the field, you're 4 down linemen, but you're just blitzing Nakobe Dean all day long on third down, and he's going to get after it because he did it all the time. He was the most effective blitzing linebacker per Pro Football Focus.
Would you say along the lines for people to relate to what Micah Parsons did as far as getting after the quarterback? Would you like, so we were obviously, some people say, oh, why didn't we draft Parsons? Look at him and whatever. And I believe, well, look at the system he played in, and they built it for them. But on those terms is what you're saying is that's how he would be looked to be used.
Yeah.
So this would be sort of, not saying that he would produce like Micah Parsons, but that would be your Micah Parson-esque guy.
In a sense, I think in this draft, Devin Lloyd kind of fits that mold a little bit more because he rushes off the edge consistently, where Nakobe Dean is plugged in that A and B gap, and there's times that he's sugaring the A gap, and then he's backing out and playing that mid-hook role, but then there's times that he just goes right through the A gap. But that allows you to run those line stunts, right? You can do a twist with, Brocker's taking the A and Aleem's taking the B, and then boom, you got something wide open in the middle where I think Dean can do that. But also with him, you mentioned where can he play traditionally? I think he's probably more of your will. So if you've got tight end to the right on the offense, and so that's a strong left call for the defense, Dean's playing on the right side, he would essentially play in a 20 to a 50. So that a 20 is head up over the guard, and his main priority is kind of watching that A and B gap, but then he plays all the way over to a 50, which is head up on the tackle. So I think it's something like that to where he can come in and he can show that range, that ability to blitz, and you see him off the field, he's even better off the field. He hasn't had a B+ since he was in 8th grade. He's been a 4.0 student through high school, college, degree in mechanical engineering. The kid's he's a smart dude. He's great for the community. He fits what Detroit's looking to do. And the fact that his only top 30 visit, which by the way is not a real thing, it's just something the media makes sound fancy.
Yeah.
But of the 30 players that teams are allowed to bring in to visit, Nakobe Dean, again, the only team he's met with is the Lions.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot of peacocking and trying to get teams to move
Spice it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you like Pickett? Well, he's visiting with us today, so
yeah, and
you gotta move up to on him.
And there are teams that really value those visits. The Steelers are one of those teams. If they're heavily involved in a pro day and they bring that guy in for a visit, there's a good chance that player is going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Other teams, not so much. This regime, it's hard to say. 7 picks last year, 4 of them came out of the Pac-12. So,
can I ask you on Leo Chenot? A lot of people are eyeing him. And I'm being completely honest with you. I don't know how to value linebacker tape like I can a defensive lineman. I played defensive lineman in high school and whatnot. Yeah. Linebacker tape, it's so tough for me too because I know they're just filling gaps, and I feel like that's part of the defensive line's assignment as well. You know what I'm saying? That helping them do that. Leo Chenot, I don't know. Help me fall in love with this guy like everybody else is. I'd see a guy. I don't think he's like. I don't know, man. I don't see it. The things that people are talking about him and they're gushing over him. Our guy Adam on the morning show loves him. I don't see that stuff, and I just don't know if I'm not like looking at the film correctly or like. What is it?
I think it's with him. You've got size, you've got versatility, and there's those flash moments on tape where he's down in the red zone on the goal line, and he's lined up as like a tilted nose, right? He's tilted almost into the A gap.
I did see that.
And he's taken on Tyler Linderbaum, who could be a for sure first round pick, it seems like, and he's taken him head on. He can't really cover that well, but when you play him up in the box, he gets after it. He's physical, and he's ultimately going to be a top 70, top 75 type of player. But everybody out there likes to throw these, well, he's a top 50 player. There's only so much room in the top 50. Not everybody can be a top 50 player. Cam Jurgens from Nebraska, the interior offensive lineman. People think he's a top 50 player. I don't see a top 50 player on tape. Same thing with Leo Chenal. I don't see it. But with that being said, I mean, there is an intriguing maybe 4th or 5th round option out of Wisconsin, not named Chenal. It's Jack Sanborn. He's the other guy that everybody doesn't talk about at Wisconsin, and he's somebody that, I don't want to say undersized, but shorter arms. Reminds me a little bit in a sense of a former Los Angeles Rams that was an undrafted free agent in 2018, 2019, Troy Reeder. And I might have mentioned him already on the show, but he is somebody that, I think Brad Holmes might value. And learning from what Brad Holmes has done last year and what he did in LA, I mean, that might be a guy that you just take later and he pans out for you as maybe that 5th linebacker.
So ultimately, it comes down to the defensive scheme and what they want out of their linebackers.
Yeah, and again, I don't know. I'm not in there. I don't know what they're. I don't know what they're scheming up, but I would assume you're going to see a 4-2-5. You're going to see a 3-2-6. You're going to see different variations of the defense all over the place. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, I think they are going to value one of these speed linebackers. Another one that they brought in on a visit was Devin Harper out of Oklahoma State. Had a 41-inch vertical, super explosive athlete. But he's kind of living in the shadow of his teammate Malcolm Rodriguez. Rodriguez is getting tons of love in the 3rd and 4th round of this draft, who's also another really good athlete. But maybe they value Harper as that 5th rounder.